In the early 1990s, Bangkok was booming, an economic tiger roaring with unprecedented growth. Dreams were built on the backs of towering cranes, and the future seemed limitless. It was in this fervent atmosphere that a vision took shape, a 49-story residential skyscraper, a beacon of luxury, offering panoramic views of the Chao Phraya River, known as the Sathorn Unique Tower. A symbol of Thailand's unstoppable economic rise, it was a billion-baht dream, nearly 80% complete, towering over the entire city. But the construction froze, the cranes fell silent, and the luxury stopped dead. This concrete giant wasn't stopped by physics or nature. Its fate was sealed of a devastating national financial collapse. Tonight, we uncover the true, shocking story of how greed created Bangkok's most infamous ghost tower. Thailand, during this era, was one of the Asian tiger economies, consistently posting economic growth rates soaring toward 12% annually. This surge was no accident. It was a perfect storm of global finance and local industry. The country was rapidly transitioning from an agrarian economy into an industrialized powerhouse, largely fueled by foreign investment. Following the appreciation of the Japanese yen, international manufacturers flocked to Thailand to set up massive export production facilities. To facilitate this flow of cash, the Thai government intentionally opened up its financial systems, making it incredibly easy for capital, often called hot money, to flood into the country. In Bangkok, the central hub where over half the country's GDP was generated, life was changing at warp speed. A new affluent middle class emerged, hungry for the symbols of Western modernity and global status. They needed luxury condos, expressways, and financial centers. Skyscrapers, often utilizing ostentatious Neo-Grecian elements like massive columns and pediments, became the visual shorthand for Thailand's wealth and confidence. It was in this atmosphere of excessive ambition that Rangsan Torsuwan, a prominent architect known for his exultant postmodernism, threw his vision into the ring. He was already famous for shaping the city's skyline with iconic structures like the State Tower, the building with the recognizable Golden Dome where the film The Hangover Part 2 was filmed, and the Bangkok City Hall. Rangsan didn't just design buildings, he sought to make a statement, a monument to Thailand's economic power. The Sathorn Unique, with its 600 luxury units and prime riverside location, was to be his masterwork. Investors and new Thai elites paid hefty deposits, eager for their piece of the seemingly limitless future. Construction began with a flurry of activity, and for a few glorious years, the Sathorn Unique was a hive of human endeavor. The dream began to crack years before the entire economy did. The first, most shocking blow was personal. In 1993, while the concrete was still rising, the project was engulfed in a major scandal that would drag on for 15 years. Rangsan Torsuwan was arrested for allegedly plotting a murder against the president of the Supreme Court. The attack never took place, and he was initially found guilty. However, after a lengthy legal battle, he was ultimately acquitted by the Court of Appeals in 2010. This scandal was a direct hit to the project's reputation. The once eager flow of money slowed to a trickle, and construction began to suffer significant delays. The integrity of the project was now hanging by a thread. Then, in 1997, the financial apocalypse arrived. What is known in history books as the 1997 Asian financial crisis, known locally as the Tom Yam Kung crisis, was caused by Thailand's own over-leveraged finances. For years, the country had pegged the Thai baht to the US dollar, making borrowing cheap and seemingly risk-free. Companies borrowed heavily in dollars, pumping the foreign currency into long-term, speculative projects, especially in the exploding real estate sector. But when Thailand's export growth stalled, speculators realized the baht was vastly overvalued. On July 2, 1997, the Bank of Thailand was forced to abandon the fixed rate. The baht's value plummeted by over 50% overnight. This immediate devaluation doubled the debt burden for every single company that had borrowed in dollars. Mass bankruptcies followed instantly, and the capital market collapsed entirely. Funding vanished, financial institutions went bankrupt, and the construction of the Sathorn Unique, along with hundreds of other projects, came to a literal, definitive, and permanent stop. The skeleton of the tower remained, suspended in a moment of history. As years turned into decades and the vines began to reclaim the concrete, the Sathorn Unique transformed from a symbol of aspiration into a monument of urban decay. And where there is ruin, the imagination takes hold. The Thai people, whose culture is rich with reverence for spirits, began to weave a new supernatural narrative around the empty structure. It was no longer just a building, it was the ghost tower. The tower became associated with tragedy, particularly for those driven to despair by the economic collapse. Local folklore claims that desperate investors who lost their life savings, and even some buyers who never received their apartments or their money back, came here to end their lives. The tower, once a symbol of immense wealth, became a monument to financial despair. Adding to this chilling reputation, the building allegedly became a site for the summoning of malevolent spirits by those seeking dark power or refuge. Stories spread of strange rituals, as well as sightings of shadowy figures by urban explorers amidst the abandoned interior, believed to be the restless spirits of those who met their end from the top of the building. In Thai Buddhist and animist belief, a violent or sudden death can create a restless and powerful spirit. These are not merely ghosts, they are beings of immense anger and confusion, trapped in the place of their death. The folklore of such tragic ends at the Sathorn Unique directly feeds into this. It's believed to be a prison for these specific, tormented entities. Furthermore, the act of summoning malevolent spirits there makes sense in this context. Practitioners of dark magic might seek to harness the raw, negative energy of such a place, an energy they call sang. Thrill seekers, photographers, and adventurers from around the globe risk trespass, decay, and the supernatural to scale its dizzying heights. Taxi drivers often refuse to drive past it late at night, fearing the shadowy figures glimpsed in the upper floors. Those who dared to venture inside describe a world frozen in time. Dust-covered construction tools lie where they were dropped, as if the workers vanished into thin air. Faded, peeling blueprints flutter in the wind that whips through glassless windows. The most haunting spaces are the ghost apartments, empty concrete shells where families were supposed to live, now covered in graffiti and the remnants of occult rituals. To stand in one of these rooms, 40 stories in the air, with the vibrant, living city of Bangkok humming all around you, is to experience a profound and chilling dissonance. You are surrounded by life, yet standing in a tomb. Then, in late 2014, the folklore violently collided with reality with the discovery of a Swedish man who had died on the 43rd floor. This tragedy in the derelict tower, made public by the Bangkok media, validated every dark rumor, every urban legend, and cemented the nickname, the Ghost Tower. 1 year after this incident, in 2015, authorities filed criminal charges for trespassing against 5 people who had posted material on the internet, including a pair of foreigners who had created a video of themselves free running on the tower. That was done in order to set an example and deter people from climbing the building, which is undoubtedly very dangerous. Authorities reported that the number of people illegally entering the premises had risen sharply over the years, following an increase in online exposure, with over 100 people entering on some weekends. Today, the Sathorn Unique Tower stands as a frozen artifact. The tower refuses to be ignored. It is a vertical cemetery for the dreams of the 1990s, and according to the legends, for the souls who were consumed by them. It is a concrete warning that echoes through the decades, that the line between a palace in the sky and a haunted ruin is terrifyingly thin. The ghost tower continues its vigil, a skeletal sentinel holding within its empty floors the echoes of a boom, a bust, a scandal, and the persistent, chilling whispers from the void.